boy pants. It's terrible. And why do you need two glasses? There's no point for two glasses up here. You cannot see with one. Why do you got things in your ear that looks like fungus? Did you get infected? Is that, no, I wouldn't snake those. He's tiny. Oh, you see this over here? You know why this is so good in the hog? It reflects on the muscle we'll see him. Good job, good job. Now shave the rest. That's basically my pirate.
A couple of years, and if you notice, I went the week before her Halloween Horror Nights because everybody will be down there having a good time. So we wanted to get this in and just show everybody the size, the scope, and the detail of Wichita. So I'll have a brief introduction, and then we're going to break into groups, about 17 different groups, and you'll get a guided tour. So just giving a brief introduction, everybody wants to know where I started. Well, back in can't remember that far back, 1990. 1990. I went, some of my friends asked me to go to a haunted attraction with them, so I went with a couple of friends there working, and I had a really good time, and I seen my buddy, and he said, man, I worked 4 weeks, and I had a great time, but I didn't make but $40, and I said, well, come work for me, I'll pay you $100. So that was in 1991. I think we did 187 people at $2, but a little bit different game now, probably doing over 45,000 at $50. And it's changed. And you know, I always thought, hey, if you put your hard work into it, it's going to turn into something. But I wouldn't have thought this big. I wouldn't have thought the scope of this size. And I just didn't know. So I have really been blessed over the years to have some great people come in and help me. After the daytime tour, we will have a questionnaire for an hour. We'll have the maintenance man, the audio, the builder, the set designer, and me will be up here. And so after your tour, come back right here. When you come back, the bars will be open, and after the hour questionnaire, we are going to feed you some food, and hope it's good. But that's just a brief synopsis. Let me answer about 10 to 12 questions, and then we'll get started. Anybody got any questions? Oh, I said everything. I just want to see the tour.
So how do you decide on when your opening night is? Does it change over the years, how early that you start in the year?
Yeah, this year we're trying something new again, just Saturday nights in October. We are doing good on Friday and Saturdays, but with payroll, and to be honest, the actors are changing. They're not as tough as they used to be, can't go as long as they used to go. So we're trying to cater a little bit to them, just open on Saturdays in September. We get 3 Saturdays, and then we go in October, and we build up. And then obviously that last weekend we're open 4 days. But a lot of that's due to overhead, the cost of running the show. It's pretty expensive to open up just for one night. So we want to make sure we're doing the right numbers, and I'm saving the great nights for my actors. And I think that the people that want to come in September, they're going to come on Saturday because we're open. And so that's changing. So it depends on a lot about the actors and the attendance we're doing. So our Sunday, the first Sunday will be our slowest Sunday. We're doing industry night on that night. So any other haunted houses that want to come out can come and go through. They tend to come, a lot of them tend to come while we're busy, and I'm like, well, how do you work for that haunted house? Because you're open tonight. So, and I don't mind helping them out or honoring, you know, if I go to Spooky Woods for 50 people, they let 50 people come here. But just trying to get the industry night on one night, and we're trying to open up early this year, and this is by far the earliest we've ever opened up, but I'm going to go to HHM myself and relax a little bit and then come back and open for the season. And if you hear all this, Alan Hobbs is training. He usually comes in. This will be his 9th year training here. And I'm going to have Alan Hobbs come speak to you later. If you ever heard him speak, that's a treat. He's I call him the Michael Jordan of Halloween. He is very good, knowledgeable, knows a lot of stuff. I think you would enjoy it. So he's going to speak later. Is there any more questions?
So what was your influences to even start a haunted house?
It's crazy. I come from a very Christian background, and Daddy didn't let me listen to a lot of secular music, and so I had to catch up. I had to watch a lot of horror movies, and for me, the influences are probably horror movies. I've been to some great haunted houses. When I met Ben Armstrong from Netherworld, I said, Ben, what do you do for a living? He said, well, I do Halloween. And I said, no, I do heating and air 40 hours a week, and then I do Halloween at night 40 hours a week. So he goes, no, I do Halloween. And I said, that's what I want to do. So I started watching. Every Sunday, I wasn't open at the time. I would go to Headless Horseman, go to Randy Bates, Niles, Michigan, Niles Haunted House, go to all the haunted houses. I saw a lot of stuff I liked. I also saw a lot of stuff I didn't like. So I picked out what was good, hired a PR lady, media buyer. All that thing really changed the scope of everything. And for me, it's not necessarily about Halloween. It's about putting on the show. And when you see down there, you'll see the stuff. It's just about building a show. If I could build this show in April and this many people would come, I'd do one for April. But Halloween seems to be the thing to let you know we're going to be doing. We did halfway to Halloween this year for the third year, and that's growing. We did Krampus last year for the first year. This year we'll do 2 weekends of Krampus. Really different show, really a fun show, and we had a lot of families come to that. This year we'll be doing Valentine of Terror. Friday the 13th is on in February, and then of course Saturday is Valentine's Day. So a great opportunity for us to. I have so much infrastructure here. I just wanted to have other ways to make money and keep the machine as expensive to run. Any more questions?
What was the evolution of creating the Bone Daddy character?
The evolution of Bone Daddy. So I went to Vegas. I think I went out there to the IAPA show or the Trans World show, and I got home. I told my wife, I said, girl, I missed you like crazy. She said, I didn't miss you at all. I'm leaving. I said, oh, wow, that was shocking. So she left, and that's the year I started working for Woods of Terror full time. And I said, you know what? I don't work for nobody. I can do what I want to do. I cut a red mohawk, picked up a yellow snake. So came into Midway. I didn't know you're supposed to name a snake, but the newspaper came out and stuck a camera in my face, and I said, yeah, her name's Dawn. It's like my ex-wife, beautiful to look at, but sneaky as a snake. They posted that on the first page of the news and record. Yeah, I got a phone call the next morning. I was like, I'm still sleeping, what's going on? Did you say this? But so went down to Myrtle Beach for Bike Week. I got a casket car. You get to see that tonight. Took the casket car out, walked into a shop down there, and there was a jacket. So I put that on. I walked in the next season, and somebody said, hey, Bone Daddy. So that was about 16 years ago. And since then, Octobers are hotter, so I had to make me a vest. So I have I have about 5 jackets. I have them locked up because a couple of my buddies had some and they got stolen at Transworld. So I got them locked up in a safe because they don't make them anymore. You can find the fake ones or the pleather ones or the vinyl ones. But that's how Bone Daddy came around. And just now, I think people still don't realize I'm the owner. I had a guy last year who said, you know, I've been here every year, and you've been here every year. And I said, yeah, I have. So it's been fun. It's after you work all season long, it's great to get out here and meet the people and talk to them. And now the bad thing is I'm seeing kids who are like, yeah, my dad come here when he was 12, and now I'm his son. I'm like, oh my God. But it's been 34 years, and that's been great. You got any more questions?
Hi. So me and my mom have been coming for 10 years now. This is our 10th year coming, and so I remember the first time I came, you guys had the Purge theme haunted house. So I was asking how you guys kind of evolve and think of new themes for different houses and how it kind of progresses.
Yeah, you know, every year, usually I'm 2 or 3 years ahead on what I want to do. I do know where the new building's going next year, and I do know how big it's going to be. I haven't named it yet. But Purge was actually probably the worst piece of property I had. I had to work it with a bobcat and build a wall and all this crazy stuff. That's where Baba Yaga is now. But once you see Baba Yaga, you'll be like, I'm glad you got rid of the Purge. But and even this year, where the new building's going, I had to build another retaining wall, get it ready, and I had to get it prepped. If you'll notice, you'll go through 2 containers this year at the end of the cave. Well, that's where the new attraction's going. January, I'll pull the containers out, and we'll start pouring cement for the new attraction. They're taking so long to build, and they're so big to build, I can't really build them in a year no more. And so right now we don't know what that attraction is going to be. I did have something that was supposed to be going on with a semi-celebrity, but he hadn't answered me back. I was trying to do a joint venture with him. Hadn't heard back from him, but we're going to do that new attraction either way, and we're going to rename it to be something new. All right?
How many acres is your home?
Well, I own 50 acres. Well, let's see, I own 42 and I'm leasing 8. So the halt's probably on about 26 of it. Yep. So. Yep. So a little bit of background. I gave a tour today. When my granddaddy died, I found the deed where my grandfather bought it in 1940. My great grandfather. So I've got one piece to buy back, and I'll have the whole 50 back. This took me about 20 years to buy it all. I remember in 1982, I decided that I wanted to farm, and I wanted to make it survive, and I wanted it to be here. I didn't know that it would be what's there, but I mean, you can notice leaving, there's a housing development, housing development, housing development, housing development. And they come in and try to buy everything, and so hopefully, luckily, I was able to buy it all back. So it's been great. I figured I'll have it all back paid for by the time I'm ready to retire. Did you have a question?
I just have a comment. I think I can speak for everybody here. Thanks to you and your team for taking all the time you had to take to get all this ready for us to go and see.
Yep.
But thank you guys for
I appreciate it. I had some of my brother, I had Tony from Spooky Wood says, "You're opening August 23rd. I said, "Yes, I am." He goes, "You do you, boo." I said, "I'm going to." I know there's a lot of people didn't think I could do it and we could pull it off, but we're going to. Tyler?
Which renovation are you most excited about for this year?
Probably the pirate ship. It was pretty big, and we're doing a lot of projection mapping this year. I wanted to try to get in there and get first in the game in North Carolina. So tonight, when you go through, you're going to see some pretty amazing projection mapping. You're going to go, "Holy cow! I can't believe it looks that good." Do what? Oh, somebody else have a question? All right.
Tell me, Andy, what made you decide to use Tom as part of Bone Daddy?
You know, I don't know. You know, I probably had seen it once or twice somewhere. I had a snake, and I figured if I was dressed up and I had a snake, everybody would want to take pictures. And then, of course, that was really about being put on social media. Clown over there. I thought that was one of my actors. But probably the social media presence, hoping that they would take a picture of the snake and it would go right on social media. "Hey, where are you at?" That was really what it was about. All right.
How much do you think the sales are depending on social media?
How much? I couldn't hear you.
How much of your ticket sales do benefit from social media?
Probably. So we sell about 60% online of our total attendance. I would say 50% of that comes from social media, because I pay a gentleman to make sure we're out there and we're working it hard. So I would say 50% of it probably. And if they say, "Well, I'm a return customer," I'm like, "Yeah, but originally you saw me on Facebook," or something like that. Any more? All right.
What is your ultimate dream for this place and your ultimate goal for this place?
My ultimate dream was the McLaurin Farm, so I made a McLaurin Farms would have Christmas and pumpkin patches, and during October we'd have Woods of Terror. My Christmas show has suffered a little bit in that the last couple of years, 6 new shows have opened up in my county. So I was a solo for a long time, and I did really well with it. So the zoo has opened a show, another haunted attraction. Nursery down the road has opened a show, and they opened Tanger Center downtown. That's the auditorium. They have the Nutcracker, Elf. It's a lot of choices for Christmas. So there's nobody doing Krampus really in the whole state. If they are, they're not doing it to the size I'm doing it. So I thought if I go with Krampus. So this year we'll do 2 years of Krampus, 2 weekends of Krampus, and 2 weekends of Merry Christmas. So my goal was for the farm to do it all. All right, let's do one more question. Got one more? All right.
What do you think the pain points are today on house customers?
Tell me again.
What are the desires and pain points of customers today on a house?
You know, I really don't know. That's a tough one. It's, a lot of the younger kids coming in, and I try to watch them when I'm down there, and I can go through and see what they're enjoying and what they're not enjoying. But that's a tough question, and I think every year it's changing and moving. Just like one year Google's #1 for me, the next year it's Facebook, and you would think TikTok would be up there, but it's really hard to advertise on TikTok, and they take your videos down. So that's a tough question. Well, we're good. Let me tell you a little bit. Is Eddie here? Eddie's right here. We're going to break into 17 different groups. Did you get a count?
I didn't get a
That's roughly about 16 to 17 people. We're going to divide you up into groups. So some of you might start at the pirate ship. And some of you might start at the cave, because we'll all start at all the attractions at once, and then it'll take about an hour and a half, and you'll go through the whole show. Once you've completed that, you'll come back here, and so you know how you work, write them up. All right, so Eddie's gonna take over after that. So if the guides can't answer your questions, just type it down on the phone. We'll come back here, and I'll have my whole staff up here, and we'll answer all the questions before we eat.
Hello again, it's me again. So we're gonna go over there, then we're gonna split you up in little groups. We have guides there, it's gonna be actors, so they're gonna be current actors. They might not know everything from the house because they might work in the other house most of the time. But these are some actors that are gonna tell you a little story of the houses, like a really interesting story that Eddie doesn't want me to tell you, but I'm telling you anyway because it's me. So the vampire house, you know guys know about it, it's no longer a vampire house. You know who met there? Eddie and Peggy met there. Ah! Like these are the kind of tidbits that you will get during the tour of the house a little bit. So you learn a little bit about it, what it used to be. If you have questions, ask the guides. Since we are such a big group and our rooms are tiny, if you guys been through, some of our rooms are very small. So we're going to talk to you at the beginning of each attraction, at the end of each attraction, in the attractions themselves, because we don't have many rooms where we actually can fit 60 to 70 people. We probably won't talk to you that much. We're going to point out some interesting things for each attraction. And then we walk around and come back here. And that's just basically it. So any questions about that? So remember your school days, line up. That's what we're going to do over there. We're going to line up. I'm basically going to count out a little bit, have guides standing ready. This is Jimmy, he's the acting director. He's going to be one of your guides as well. So you guys are going to be paired up with somebody. If you want to be with people in the group, make sure that you stay together and tell me so I can make sure that you stay with them. We're not in elementary school, so if the group's a little bit larger or smaller, I'm fine with that. So anyway, just walk over to the exits there, and I will see you over there.
Wait a minute, what's Eddie's answer, and then what's your answer?
I'll answer first. Generally what happens is Eddie and Nate just talk it over and they figure out what Eddie wants to do as far as an attraction. Nate comes up what he's going to do layout wise and how they're going to construct it, and then I come in after Nate builds and I start. So it generally depends on what we're doing. So say like the Baba Yaga house, that took us anywhere between 2.5 to 3 months. But like Pirates, we slammed Pirates out in the last 20 days, and I'd say an extra 2 or 3 weeks on construction as far as the facades and the ship and redoing the ships. So it just depends on the project. So a lot of times it starts with these two. They discuss it. He says what he wants, where he wants the scares, how he wants the scares. But I'd say generally, depending, we try to get a project done. Like Baba Yaga, like I said, it's been phases. That's like a 3-month as a whole, it's probably about 3 months. But we try to get as many projects as we can done. It's generally about 1.5 months to a month, depending on how big the project is.
Yeah, going for last year, we probably spent 3 to 4 months on Mortuary in Necropolis. And then we spent 3 or 4 months on Baba Yaga. We spent a week and a half in Fungus Among Us, and it won Best Attraction. And that was really shocking. I was like, okay. But the Pirates we did probably in 25 days. We had to knock Pirates out because we were a little behind.
How many people on that group?
Excuse me, I'll give you like a 4. You need to add some bits.
That's okay, depending on the day. So we can run, our construction crew runs about 4 guys. It's me, really Scorn, and then Hernan and Carlos. And then lately we've been having Nick come in and another carpenter, Gans, come in. Everybody's been contributing, but say for Pirates, we all kind of dug in on Pirates, and we was anywhere from about 6 to 7 people every day on Pirates for the last probably, I think Eddie said 25 days. So I would agree to that.
All right, and all that stuff. And I mean, me and Peggy went all over Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, antiquing and grabbing stuff. And I did break 3 ribs in the Texas house, but that wasn't fun. I was cutting the telephone pole and the ladder kicked out and I landed on the pole. But, and she goes, let's go to the doctor. I said, let me finish cutting this last pole. She goes, you gotta be kidding. I said, no, I'm gonna finish. But the Baba Yaga's been incredible. The Calypso is good. I mean, each year is a different level, I think the Baba Yaga is great, but I did the Texas house. Were you here? No. Yeah. Only me and Devin were here at the Texas house, so it was a lot different. Now when I go to Baba Yaga, I got the whole team, so I still have fun collecting and getting all the stuff, and I have a great time. I know I line that stuff up for Ryan, and I go, here's all the stuff that needs to go in that building. And that for me, that's the thrill of the hunt, finding a piece. There's pieces in the mortuary. I know one piece I got in Nashville, North Carolina. One piece I got in Virginia. I can tell you where I got them, at what antique store, but grabbing all those things and putting it all together and going, holy cow, this looks good together.
Over the last 30 years, what's been your favorite change you've made to Woods of Terror?
I don't know, probably just in general. I used to have guided tours, and I would give you a guide, and it fastly became impossible. So I had to pretty much fence in the whole woods, but being able to do that and run guideless shows, which, everybody tells you, they'll tell you everything's impossible and you can't do it, just like today. But probably changing that and breaking some of the rules and doing it the way I wanted to do it and making it work, and then saying, I told you it would work, you just had to give me time to fix it.
How have your off-season shows been performing?
Off-season shows have been doing good. Our halfway to Halloween still growing. Last year was our first year for Krampus, and in 3 days of Krampus, almost outperformed 12 days of Merry Christmas. And you're like, what? I did. 3 days of Krampus, I almost outperformed 12 days of Christmas. So, and a lot of people don't even, here in the city, probably even no matter where you live, 1 people in 100 knows what Krampus is. Mm-hmm. They just do not know. And I think we started Carolina Krampus Facebook. We're trying to build that up. I think once we teach them what it is, they'll come out. And we try to add a little bit of comedy with our Krampus show. It's a little bit different. Alan?
Is 12 Days of Christmas not scary, and then Krampus is scary?
Yeah, so we had 3 days of Krampus, which was scary, and then we did 12 days of Merry Christmas. And Merry Christmas for us is a big hayride. I used to have a haunted hayride. I took that out. It was a big bottleneck. But they'll go down through there all the way around the property, all the way on the backside of mortuary. We got Christmas lights. And we had, Santa Claus was here this year. This year he'll be here. And Dead City will be here tonight performing on the stage, fire breathing, stuff like that. But all the shows we're doing outside are growing. I mean, I don't know about Krampus, but I would think it would grow too this year. Adding in 30 scare boxes. So 30 scare box, you step on the trigger, the strobe light goes off, the speaker growls. Yeah, that's the way we're changing it. So Jimmy actually told me this year, we probably should have had him up here, but he said he didn't think we needed but about 8 of them. That's what he told me. So I'm like, well, that's good, because last year we probably needed 25 to 30. So if you only need 8, that's great. We can still use them. They're a big confidence builder for the kids, and we're going to use them. And if they don't need to use them, if they can act without them, then we won't use them. If we decide that we're not going to use them, we'll probably move the actor down a little bit and make the sound boxes automated on a trigger, so I can still use my box, and then we'll just move them down a little bit. So we'll still use them, but it'd be great to have, what's happening is every night you got about at least 10% missing. So if I'm doing 120 actors, you're missing 12 actors. And then you got a bunch of people that want to come volunteer, or their first night here and they've never been trained, we ain't got time. You're like, okay, we're gonna put you on a scare box until they can learn how to act better. All right? Barely hear you.
What kind of maintenance do you have to do on your props and your scenery throughout the year to keep them looking nice? You have to put them up and bring them all back out,
Yeah.
and keep them out there.
Well, if you notice, you went through a lot of buildings. So I'm on my third go around building Woods of Terror. I've built everything 3 times. So when we got the mortuary, I said, this is the 3rd time I've totally tore it down to the ground and I totally rebuilt it, and I'm not putting it outside, I'm putting it in a building because I'm not going to do it anymore. So what's happening is I can leave more out than I ever could before because it's in the building, so we're not really leaving it outside. So I can tell you on the Pirates, if I leave out the lobster cages that like from Maine, the nice ones, and the whiskey barrels, in 3 years they'll be gone. They'll be totally trashed. So I usually take all the lobster cages out, all the barrels out, pack them in containers, and I pull all that stuff out. I'll probably let the net hang. I can get more net. It is harder to get, but now I know where I can get it. But you know, 30 years ago I used to put up 90% and leave out 10. Now I'm probably putting up 10% and leaving out 90. And which is great because I can do halfway to Halloween real quick. I can set up in 2 or 3 days instead of putting all that stuff out. Right.
Line that's coated and it's neon color or black and stuff that's in some of the houses. What is that coated in?
So a lot of people call it jute, G-U-T-E. At your local, we got a place here called Green Resources. It's really a landscaping place. They're going to call it erosion cloth. So we take the erosion cloth apart, and then what is it? The paint we're dipping it in.
So if you go online, believe it or not, I went to Zombie Army. I don't know if any of you guys are aware of what Zombie Army is, and I looked at they do what they call voots. They don't call them vines or whatever. And I said, okay, we don't need to do the 16 steps that they do to make them. We only need to do 3. So it's stripping the jute, twisting it together, tying it off, dipping in latex. I like to mix the paint that we're going to use into the latex so that you already have that, and then we go back over it and coat it. So, and it just depends. So he'll have people come out on the weekend, and I'm not here on the weekends, and he'll have them make me 100 to 50 of them. And then we find where we're going to put them up, and a lot of times I'll paint them into the scene. So you'll see a lot of those kind of gags when you go into fungus. You'll see we've done it all in black light. You go over to Pirates, you see that it's used as seaweed. You go over to Baba Yaga. So there's a lot of diversity in how you can use them and put them up, and it just depends on how much you want to do. So, you know, a lot of times the larger scale ones, you'll see that this rope twined in with jute, and we also use a lot of burlap, and we just twist it together and latex the crap out of it. That's really what we do there.
I took old garden hoses that, you know, are leaking and they don't work anymore, and put the burlap on them, zip tight, dip them, and that gives them a core to hang on to. But you can just take jute and just put it together. I've used spools of rope, but I think honestly I like the jute. Just roll it together, and then it's more bendable and flexible. And then once we put the base coat on it, Ryan always goes back some details that maybe dry brushes, it changes the color. So they're all made the same way, they're just painted different.
Eddie, when did you start doing serving alcohol, and how do you think that changed the haunt?
So we started serving alcohol 3 years? 3 years ago, and I looked at that. It wasn't just a like overnight decision. I talked to a lot of people, and so the deal is, if they're coming to your home, they're drinking. They're just drinking in the parking lot. So what they're doing is they're tailgating, and then they go out there and they drink 5 or 6 real quick. They come in, they buy a ticket. By the time they get over here to the line, they're staggering and falling, and I'm like, why are you letting those people in? They can't even make it through the haunt. So what happens is, if they know we're serving alcohol, they won't pregame. They'll come inside and buy a drink. And then they'll probably have 1 or 2, because by the time they have the second one, I've already called them inside. Once they come out over there, we don't serve alcohol out there because they're going through their cars. So it's been a game changer for us. Rough numbers is that little shack up there with the pizza. It used to make about $12,000 during the Halloween season.
We just did chips and candy and soda and stuff, all we did.
Last year, that building made $50,000. So, yeah, game changer. And so we got a Baba Yaga cup.
They have one right there. Baba Yaga right here.
Yep. So these Baba Yaga cups, we went to a convention named IAPA. I said, hey, I need a cup. He goes, hey, I got this. Was it a baseball? He said it was a goldfish cup. And I said, well, I need it black. And I bought 5,000 of them, and we made that. And then we have the Roxy Spice. You put the ice in there, drop it in there, and the drink's smoking. So it's a smoking cauldron. So, and we got a sign on that side. It's called the Baba Yaga Brew. So we released the attraction and the brew the same year. But it's definitely a game changer. And, you know, a lot of people think, well, you don't have all these drunk people. No, really. The ones that were the drunkest, we caught them, they were brought in some kind of margarita mix and they were tearing it open and pouring it in their drinks. Those are the ones we had the trouble with, and they usually don't have that much trouble. So they drink one or two and they'll go in, and then when they're pre-gaming, they'll do 5 or 6, they come in totally drunk. And so we give them a ticket to come back, but we don't want them going through the woods. But it's been good for us. And so after that, I added that bar and that bar, and they all did pretty good last year. So they'll probably do better this year. More bartenders, and now we're getting to know a little bit what they want.
I will suggest if you are home in North Carolina and you are looking to introduce alcohol, get a consultant. Do not do it without a consultant. It was the best $800 I have ever spent in my life.
Like an attorney consultant or?
No, her name is Nikki. I can't remember her last name, but she'll give it to you later on. And she actually used to run the ABC Commission Board, and she retired, so she walked me through every step there was, and I didn't have to have an appointment. She did everything up there for me.
So Netherworld is one of Roxy Spice's biggest customers, and I said, well, they don't even serve alcohol. And he goes, no, they don't. And I go, well, what are they doing? So they're taking those Cyclones, they're doing a jigger shot of Red Bull, and charging you $12 for a drink or Monster. And so they're selling a ton, and they don't even do alcohol. So you can do it both ways.
Thank you.
You're welcome.